to another Dreadlocks question and answer video where I answer your questions. The first question this week is from Julia Rizzut. Julia asks, question, I want to dread only some parts of my hair. What do you recommend for hair care, shampoo / washing? Should I still condition the other non-dreaded parts of my hair, or should I only wash my hair with residue-free shampoo? Thank you so much. Caring for partial dreads can be slightly more complicated than caring for a whole head of dreadlocks because, yes, the different hair types do require slightly different hair care regimes. The dreaded part is going to need washing with a residue-free shampoo. You can use the residue-free shampoo on the rest of your hair, so that's not all that complicated, just residue-free shampoo throughout. However, you are likely going to want to condition the regular hair, whereas you can't condition the dreaded hair. The reason for the conditioning of the regular hair is so that the hair doesn't knot up. Young dreadlocks have a tendency to knot in surrounding loose hairs, and so if you're not careful you can find that one lone partial dread has started to really knot up all the surrounding hair. To stop this from happening, you've got to be really careful with your separating and make sure that you keep on top of it and make sure that the non-dreaded hair is as undread friendly as possible. So to do that generally means to keep it conditioned and brushed. You can find my video specifically on partial dreads linked down in the description that goes into the whole thing in more detail. Samantha Frock asks, question, how old are you? Due cause you speak very well but yet don't look very old. How old am I? I am 22. My birthday was in June, so I turned 22 in June, and I will turn 23 next June. 22 years old. Garrett Smith asks, question, my dreads are 9 months old and doing good. I am a young metalhead and I like to headbang. Will headbanging be bad for my dreads? Because they will be whipping around fast and they are still new. I just don't want to damage the roots. Headbanging with dreadlocks. Looks cool, not so much fun for the people around you, I'll come back to that. You can headbang with young dreads, it's not really gonna be pulling a whole lot out. And it shouldn't really be too much stress on the roots. Dreadlocks only weigh as much as the hair that they're made from because, you know, they're just hair. So headbanging with long hair stretches the roots the same as headbanging with dreadlocks made up of the same length of hair. If your dreadlocks get really long, then when you're swinging around it's going to be pulling on your scalp more, but it's probably not going to be all that long at 9 months. And the guy from Shadows Fall seems to get away with doing it. I would only be more careful if you had long dreadlocks and they were wet. When dreadlocks are wet they weigh a lot more. When you swing them around they can really start to pull on your head, but for regular length dreadlocks it's not really going to be a huge worry. And as the person with the dreadlocks attached to your head you'll be sort of in control, and if you feel that swinging your dreadlocks around is pulling a bit on your head, if you feel it's uncomfortable or painful, then you'll know that maybe you should adjust what you're doing. However, as I mentioned earlier, it's gonna be not so pleasant for the people around you. If you're at like a show, if you're at a concert and you start swinging regular hair around, not a big deal. If you start swinging dreadlocks around, you're gonna find that people around you take a step back because no one really wants to be hit in the face with, you know, big load of dreadlocks. Gets you lots of extra space at shows. Anna Wedolowski asks, question, I started neglect dreadlocks about a month ago and in another month I'm going to prom, so I'm wondering if by then they'll be too crazy looking to make them look somewhat decent, and if I were to curl the dreads would there be any negative effect on them? I think since there's a queue for the dreadlock question she's probably already had the prom by now. But for people who are in a similar situation, neglect dreadlocks at 2 months, will they look too crazy to make them look decent? It really depends on the individual. Some people can find that their neglect dreadlocks have done pretty much nothing after 2 months. Other people can find that their hair has started to section off. Neglect dreadlocks are really, really unpredictable, and you know, can't predict how they're gonna be by a set of time. Whether you'd be able to make them look, you know, decent depends on your definition of decent and what sort of thing you're trying to do with them. Because of course some people are going to find neglect dreadlocks, you know, pretty regardless of what you do, and other people are going to find any dreadlock, you know, unattractive regardless of what you do. You can curl them if you are, you know, trying to make them look nice by curling them. There are a few ways to curl dreadlocks. You can braid them, and when they come out they can have some curl to them, but if you're neglecting your dreadlocks, if they're really young neglect dreadlocks, there might not be really clearly defined dreads to braid. So in which case you can use like a curling iron, and curling irons you can just sort of curl up strands of hair. You're not going to cause particular damage to the dreadlocks by doing that. There is going to be a risk of heat damage like there would be when you use it on any normal hair, but it's not going to be worse to do it on dreadlocks, it might not hold quite as well because you can't get the heat all the way through on a dreadlock, but you can use the curler and it's not going to have any long lasting effect because like with regular hair, it, you know, comes out and you wash your hair and then the curling is gone until you recurl them. Katie Roberts asks, is there a way to keep really young dreads from growing together? Mine are 3 months old and this is my biggest problem. Young dreadlocks are going to grow together. There are only a few things you really need to do with young dreadlocks. You need to keep them clean, you need to dry them thoroughly, and you need to keep on top of the separating. To stop the dreadlocks from growing together, you just need to do the separating, and to separate, you just get 2 dreads that are starting to go together at the root and pull them in opposite directions. It can be sort of tedious to have to keep doing it. How often you have to do it is sort of dependent on the individual. Some people find that they don't have to separate at all, and other people find that if they go more than a day without separating, everything turns into a big knotted mess. You just have to keep on top of it. As time goes by, you will find that they don't need separating as often. Young dreadlocks, when they're soft and sort of loose, will need separating a lot more often than mature dreadlocks. Once your dreadlocks are matured, you can, you know, go weeks, months without separating and still be able to come back and separate in time to stop them from congoing together. Or, you know, some people want the dreadlocks to congo together, and in which case you just don't separate the dreads and then they will grow together. I will link my separating video in the description to this one. Those were my questions for this week. If you have a question that you would like me to answer in a Q&A video, such as this one, you can leave it down in the comment section. Please write question at the start of your comment and then it will join the queue. Or you can join the Facebook page at facebook.com/lazydreads, and there each week I ask for questions, and whichever question gets the most liked, that one will also join the video uploaded that week. If you liked this video, if you found it helpful, useful, enjoyable, fun, you can click the like button. If you'd like to see more videos from me in the future, you can of course subscribe. If you're looking for dreadlocks tips, tricks, help, guide, information, tutorials, things like that, videos, you can find all my stuff on lazydreads.com. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Farewell!